Hello. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys about something that is really fun. It's a new craze with educators right now, and it's called Bitmojis and creating your Bitmoji classroom. This is something that I was really excited to learn how to do, and thankfully I've had a lot of time over the last couple of weeks to just kind of play around with it. Some other teachers have shown me their classrooms and how to create different things. And so this tutorial may be a little longer than some of the others, but I think that this is one you will find very enjoyable because I know I have wasted hours actually playing around and creating different virtual classrooms. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. But the first thing that you need to do is you need to get the Bitmoji Chrome extension. So if you Google Bitmoji Chrome extension, you should see it come up in the Chrome store, and you should be able to very quickly add that, and then it will show up as this little green box, this little icon on your toolbar where your other extensions are housed. And so obviously if you do not know what a Bitmoji is, it's basically like a little cartoon you that you can create, and you can use them in your email signatures. You can use them in class for presentations, and the kids really like it as well because they know what Bitmojis are and they use them through Snapchat or Facebook, other social media platforms. And so this is something that you can use in a variety of ways. So if you do not have a Bitmoji already created, once you get the Chrome extension, you'll need to make sure that you create your Bitmoji, your character, and you can make that character look like you with the same hair color if you wear glasses and all sorts of things. And so it's really kind of fun to create this cartoon version of yourself. And then what you'll do is, and obviously these are some of my classrooms, my Bitmoji classrooms that I've kind of played around with the last few weeks. This is my desk area, and some people try to create a classroom that looks nothing like their actual room, but I actually tried to create mine to look like my classroom. And so I've been working on that. I even found some posters that I actually have up in my classroom. I even have the Granville County Schools calendar for next year up on this bulletin board. So you can see my character here. Now I can change the outfit and change the hairstyle and all those sorts of things. And you can do that when you create your Bitmoji. So the first thing that we'll do here, I already have 3 classrooms created, as you can see, but we are going to add a new slide, and you want to make sure that it is blank. So if normally it's got the little area where you can type. So to change that, just do the 2-finger click, apply layout, and make sure it's blank. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go up here to insert image. And so you can do this with PowerPoint. It's just a few extra steps. Whereas if you use Google Slides, everything can be done right here under this one tab, which is really awesome. So if you go to insert image, search the web, you're going to be using this a lot to create your classroom. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is find your wall and floor. So if you just look up wall and floor background, you'll see lots of different things come up. Let me just erase classroom here. And you can also create these if you don't see anything that you like on here. You can change it. But for now, let's just select this one. I think this one looks pretty good, and it's a nice blank canvas. So it's going to insert it like a picture, and you will just resize it to fit that slide. Okay, so you will do that, and then once you get it to fit on the slide, you can see it looks like a floor and a wall. And this is kind of where you start. This is your blank canvas, and now you can create your classroom. So let's say that, first of all, you're looking at this and you're like, well, I don't really like the gray classroom walls. It's just too drab. Maybe you want a different background. Maybe you want something really exciting because maybe your actual classroom is kind of drab. And so you want to find something that will be fun. And so you can go back to search the web, and let's just look for bright wallpaper. So let's just say, for the sake of this assignment, I just really like this bright yellow and teal. And so I'm going to insert that. And yes, it is very bright. And then you're just going to resize it to fit the area that is the wall portion. Okay. So you're going to do that. And then there you go. You've got this really bright wall for your background. So then the next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start looking for objects to place in your classroom. So one of the things that you're definitely going to want is either a whiteboard or a TV like you see there. And the important thing here, when you search for this image, before we just search plainly for wall and floor background and that kind of thing, but you want to make sure that you include the word transparent with all of the things that you're going to include in your classroom. And the reason behind that is if you just look up whiteboard, right, and I click whiteboard and insert this picture, it's going to insert this whole picture of this whiteboard, and there's a computer in there and a chair. You don't want that, right? So you want to find transparent images that won't have all of the extra stuff. You can place it over top of anything. And so if you just go back and put transparent in front of whiteboard, you'll get some of these images. And sometimes you'll find some that, even though it says transparent, they're not really transparent once you click it to put it in your classroom. But you can of course delete it and find another one if you need to. So for now, let's just see if this one works. Yep, there we go. So here is a whiteboard, and you see the difference. It doesn't have all the extra stuff. It's just the whiteboard. So I can make this as big as I want it to, floor to ceiling if I need to. So now I have the whiteboard, and let's say I want to move it over here because I want to put a desk over here, and I want to put myself at my desk. So let's look at table. Yeah, here we go. Let's do this and insert. So it's a transparent table. It's going to serve as the desk in this classroom. So let's resize that. Okay. Now I need a chair to sit in. Maybe I need a chair. So go back, transparent desk chair. And of course you can choose any of these that you want. Let's choose this fun bright one here. That looks like fun. All right, so let's resize it. Let's put it behind the table. Wait a minute. It's not behind the table. It looks like it's on the table. We can fix that. So it's a very simple click of a button up here. If you go to arrange up here on above your toolbar, and then click order, send backward, and now it has sent the chair behind the table where it belongs. Now also maybe you want the chair to face a different direction because it's kind of facing away from the classroom and away from the board. If you two-finger click and go to format options, you can change the position. You can change the size and rotation. You can flip it. I clicked flip, and now it's facing the right direction. So you can use the recolor option. Maybe you don't really like the color of the chair as it is. You want it to be a little lighter. Well, there you go. Now it really matches the wall. So you can change that. Obviously, it's kind of limited as far as the color options here, but you can recolor it. So there are some things that you can use here. You can even resize it here if you wish. So now we have the table, we have the desk here. I'm trying to think, what else do you need in your classroom, right? Maybe you need a computer on your desk. So let's search the web for a transparent laptop. Obviously, there's lots of choices here. I will tell you not all of them are transparent because I have already tried. Let's do this one here. All right, so there is a laptop. You can move that to sit on your desk over here. So now you have a laptop on your desk. Maybe you need a poster over here on the wall, or maybe you need a bulletin board for some information. You can look that up. So image, search the web, transparent bulletin board. And now you can click any of those, insert bulletin board, and now you have a bulletin board on your wall over here. So you can add all sorts of things to your classroom. A lot of the things that you need, such as like furniture and stuff like that, would obviously need to be transparent. Some things you don't necessarily need to be transparent if they're just going to be flat up against the wall kind of images that you can crop maybe. And I did that with a few things. So for example, here in this classroom, this poster that says "Throw kindness like confetti," I actually have that poster, and I've used it on a bulletin board. And so what I did for that was I looked up "Throw kindness like confetti," and I found the poster as an image. And then what I did was I saved the image to my desktop. And then what I did was once it downloaded, I opened it up and took a screenshot. So obviously if you're on a Mac, Command-Shift-4 will allow you to do a cropped screenshot. And so I did that, and it created that poster for me. So then I can go back to my classroom here, and let's say I want to put that on my wall over here. By my board, you can just drag and drop that poster in there and then resize it. And so now I have this awesome poster in my classroom. But what I want to show you is how to insert your Bitmoji and then how to use this classroom with your students, like what that would look like. So the first thing is let's get our Bitmoji here. And if you click on the little Bitmoji icon, your extension, you should see several different, you'll have your recents up here. You can search different things. You can look through. There's different categories like happy, sad, Bitmojis. And you can look through those. I'm going to get the one that's sitting, and then I'm going to drag it over here to my desk chair. And here I am now. You can resize your Bitmoji. And because it's kind of like an image now, obviously I'm not sitting in the right direction to sit in my chair. I need to be turned the other way. So if you remember, 2-finger click, format options, flip, and now I'm sitting in the right direction. But I'm sitting on my desk. Maybe you want to sit on your desk, but I'm going to sit in my chair. Again, how to do that, you would then go to Arrange, Order, Send Backward. Now, you can move the table out of the way to just make sure you're actually sitting the way you're supposed to sit in your desk chair. You can resize yourself, obviously. You don't want to necessarily be a giant. And then you can move the table back to where you had it. Move your computer back over there. Oh, I need to bring that to the front. There we go. Now my computer's back on my desk. So this is the basics. But the really cool thing that I wanted to show you is how you can make these interactive and use these in your classroom. So let's say that for today's lesson, you're going to have them watch a YouTube video, okay? So let's just go to YouTube. So let's say, I'm a history teacher, so let's say that today's lesson is on let's say the Cold War, okay? So you can find these oversimplified videos are actually really awesome if you've never used them. So let's say we want to use
I've decided that in order to sell
oversimplified video on the Cold War, and once you get to it, you just want to get that link there. And let's insert an image. Let's insert the YouTube icon. Okay. Insert. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna make this smaller, obviously. I'm gonna put it up here on my board. Okay. Now, let's say we want to make this an interactive link, right? So let's say we want to link something to this video. So we're going to copy and paste that YouTube link and click apply. So now here on this classroom page, when you present, and let's say you have this posted on Google Classroom or something, when this comes up, the students can click on that YouTube
I've decided
icon,
that in order to sell more merch, I should do.
And it will take them to that video that you want them to watch. And so that's one thing that you can do. You can do the same thing with an article, maybe an Ed Puzzle video that you want to include. You can link your Google Classroom here. So many things that you can do. A reading, and you can even write instructions on here as well. So let's say that this is going to be their warm-up, right? Let's say that I'm going to have this up in the classroom, and this is going to be at the top of their Google Classroom for the day. And this is also going to be displayed up front when they get into class. So I can insert text, and I can put a little text box over here and say warm-up. Click the YouTube link to watch a short video about the Cold War, and then write a brief summary of the video in your journal. I mean, that's just simple. You can include that so that, you can also have this displayed in front of the class so that when they come in that day, they see that that's their warm-up, but they can also access that through Google Classroom. So you can share this with them. Now, the one hint that I will say for you when you're creating these classrooms, if you just include, if you use this as your actual presentation that you give to the kids, and I know the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to get in here and they're going to start moving stuff around. They're going to have the table on your head. They're going to have the chair behind the board. So it's going to be something crazy. They'll be moving everything around. They'll delete stuff because they're kids, right? So to prevent that, and this, you guys may learn some other tricks, but what has been shared with me, a real easy way to prevent that is to get all of the basics on here, okay? So let's delete this and the links, right? Because you want to be able to add those to this backdrop. So you have your classroom set up the way you want it. So once you have that, before you add any of the links and the interactive components, you can fix my little thing here. You can do the 2-finger click. Actually, I think you have to go up here to File. Yep. Download. And download it as a JPEG image. So now it's going to download that slide as a JPEG image. Okay, so once you do that, you can bring it over to your desktop. Now I have this presentation is called Bitmoji Classroom Creator. This is where I'll come to create my different classrooms, right? Now I have another called Bitmoji Classroom Original. And so this is where I will post these images to be inserted into other presentations, because you can't change these, and you'll see once I open that. I'm going to add another slide here. And then I am going to drag this JPEG over. And there's my classroom. I just have to scale it to fit the slide. And now when you present this, or when you send it to the kids, they can't move. They can move the whole background, but they cannot move each individual piece that you have created and put into your classroom. So they can't move you around. They can't take the posters off the wall and move the table and put it on top of your head or any of that kind of stuff. And same goes for these. I've done it with all of the ones that I've created. So now you can kind of use this as a template. And so anytime you want to create one, you can come here and, you know, copy this background over to another slide presentation, and then you can add those links, like the YouTube link or the link to your Google Classroom or Edpuzzle or anything like that. And but all of the rest of it is static. It won't move. So that's pretty much it. That's the basics of creating a Bitmoji classroom and some of the ways that you can include links and so forth to use it for your classes. A lot of teachers use it to include little reading groups, you know, with books to read and things like that. They create a little classroom library with it. I have seen teachers use it for assignments. I've seen teachers use it for their introductory presentation on the first day of school to go over rules and procedures in their classroom. And it makes that a little more interactive and a little more fun for the kids versus just seeing the same slides scroll through over and over again. So you can use these as templates for a lot of different things. You can even use these for teaching content. If you're a high school teacher and you give notes and lectures, you can use these for that as well and add all sorts of fun things to it. It's really endless, the possibilities that you have with Bitmoji and creating these classrooms. So that is kind of the basics of Bitmoji and that extension and creating your Bitmoji classroom in Google Slides. And I hope that this will be something that you'll find fun and useful in your classes and that your kids will enjoy as well.